Again, I'd like to really appreciate deeply that you have agreed to come to our show. We really do want a basic explanation of what the M23 really is, so that the South African public has an appreciation of what the movement is and the rest of the dynamics in the region.
M23 is a Congolese organization. It's a Congolese movement that have within all background Congolese. The M23, as you understand, M23 comes from March 2009 agreement between the CNDP and the DRC government. Peace agreement signed on the 23rd March 2009. That peace agreement stated that all the army should be integrated and the politicians as well integrated, and the agreement itself being implemented accordingly. But what happened is that when the cadres, political or militaries of CNDP were integrated on DRC National Army, they started being killed by the DRC government. The DRC government refused to honor or to implement the peace agreement signed on international level. So a group of cadres started to raise a voice and to tell the DRC government and international community that the signed agreement hasn't been fulfilled. The DRC government refused to do so and started killing our compatriots. It's not right. So these things that is being signed on international level being flattered like this by the DRC government. So a group of cadres retreated to the mountain of Reunion. From there, they start making noise to the international community, calling everyone to have a look what Kinshasa is doing, refusing to honor the agreement, killing people, spreading the hate speech, and everything is going back to what it was before. The DRC government, instead of approaching the group of cadres that were actually on the mountain crying for help, it decided to attack, it decided to kill and eliminate everyone. So that is how the M23 get to life on the 6th of May 2012. But the M23 only seek freedom for Congolese. Stop apartheid. Stop bad governance, exclusion, xenophobia, cannibalism. These are the stuff that the M23 actually advocated. And these are human rights, basic, what M23 is asking for. Is asking for the human right of Congolese. Exclusion to stop, not to select who can be called Congolese. We inherited these colonial borders from Germany, Berlin, conferences that cut our countries like a piece of cake, without bearing in mind the community that lives in both sides of countries. So this has been cut this way and created a problem. And the M23 has been raising this problem since then, calling the international community to put pressure on Kinshasa to stop community apartheid. And this is no good, killing people for the way they look, saying the Tutsis are foreign, are not Congolese, and saying all the Rwandophone speaking are Rwandese. And this exclusion is creating problem until today. We have the same problem until today. So the M23 is a Congolese movement that seek freedom, peace, and recognition of their people that are Congolese like everyone else, and the DRC government to stop apartheid.
The M23 at the moment, is it a mass-based organization, or is it purely a sort of military organization? And when I say mass-based organization, I'm trying to make comparisons between a political party that has an armed section or an armed wing, or is it basically just an armed wing?
As you can recall what I said at the beginning, I said the cadres, and on the cadres I said the military has to be integrated in the army and the political as well. So the M23 is political military movement, like the ANC was in South Africa at the time of apartheid. The same cause that the ANC was fighting then is the same cause that the M23 is fighting today for the people of DRC. Is a political, we have a political, it's not a question of wings or military. We have one organization that have one leadership, and the same leadership we have the military side as well, like an organization.
Recently, then, the reports are that you have taken over Goma. Could you just walk us through, firstly, that confrontation or military confrontation that resulted into M23 taking over that part of the DRC?
First of all, you have to be known that the M23 is no warmongering organization. We never sought to fight the DRC government at all. We asked for surrounding and conditional surrounding on October 2020. We were in Kinshasa. We spent 14 months in Kinshasa negotiating with the DRC government then. And on the second week of November 2021, the DRC government came to start attack our positions and want to eliminate everybody. The war started. So the M23 since then always call for a dialogue because this crisis is a political crisis that does not have a military solution, because we have to go to the root causes, address the root causes of this conflict. So since then, the M23 been calling for that. We started in Rwandan, and the DRC government over the time is starting a new campaign of bringing foreign arms groups, entertaining FDLR, who had the Interahamwe that committed genocide in Rwanda in 1994 against the Tutsi of Rwanda. They brought in Burundi National Forces, mercenary, and MONUSCO also on the side, and the SAMIDRC forces. And Goma was over militarized, and there was a weapon all over the place. People were killing every single day. And there were no water, no electricity in Goma. Every single day, people, citizens, were killed. The town of Goma was suffocating. There were so many military personnel and so many military in different countries, all in one town. At the same time, people were killing every single day. The act of cannibalism that was happening in Goma was unacceptable. You see someone, we judge him by the way he looks. They check the nose, is a long nose, they say it's a foreign. He's tall, they say it's a foreign, he's a Rwandese, he's Congolese, and people are being lynched, even military personnel. been lynched and claimed that they are actually a foreign, and it's not a single word from the DRC government. So it was too much, and even before we came to the town of Goma, 2 to 3 days beforehand, there were a massacre committed in the prison of Mbuyiseni, where many women were burned alive, raped, killed. So this became unacceptable. So the town of Goma had to be liberated from the carnage, the horrible hell of massacre was happening in this town, created by the DRC government, supported by the South African forces. This was not really unacceptable anymore, because many people should recall that many countries in the world supported South Africa to free South Africa from apartheid. Today, we see South Africa coming to support a government that suppress people and apply and implement apartheid within the country. It was really controversial. We could not believe that the people that fought, the people that see themselves working hard to get rid of apartheid, and today they call themselves a rainbow country where they have everybody in there. Why not us? We don't have white, yellow as citizens, but all blacks. But they separate us because of our size, our nose, or the way they look. And this was unacceptable in a way our fellow African exemplary country like South Africa will send troops to kill Congolese, to implement the apartheid plan of Mr. Tshisekedi, to walk around mercenary, where South Africa himself fought mercenary in Angola, fought mercenary in Mozambique, and today South Africa is fighting alongside mercenary to just implement an apartheid program, just because of interest of countries and politics of countries. This really shook us, and we could not understand this. So the town of Goma, we have to do everything to actually liberate our people. And we never started this war. It was the DRC government and its allies who were attacking our position and densely populated area. We even made a communique 2 to 3 days beforehand. We said that we've been attacked, and here the population has been attacked every single day using heavy weaponry, at the same time using the airport of Goma, loading all the bombs in there, going to launch and kill civilians. We wrote to the United Nations. We told them that what is happening here is a hell. And the NGO also starts talking about the DRC government taking hostage entirely displaced people camps, where he put bombs in the camps and outside the camps, forcing the citizens to remain in the camps, take them as hostage, for them not to move, to go to their homes in the liberated area. Instead, is attacking our position and populated areas in the liberated zone, at the same time maintaining population instead of hostage. And this was said all along, and that's why the town of Goma have to be liberated. We started defending ourselves against the DRC government since November 2021. Since then, we never reached the town of Goma. We're next to Goma. For a long time, we're next to Goma. We're already asking for DRC government to come on the table to discuss this problem, to stop this war, because this problem is actually political problem, not a military. But the DRC government choose a war-mongering plan when to get South African or the countries of SADC to put forces to come to suppress the civilians that are crying for help. So that's why the town of Goma had to be liberated. And we are in a situation we are in today of freedom. The peace has returned. People are going to work. The kids are going to school. The town has been. We clean the town. The NGOs are working. The social movements are carrying on the social movement. They're always doing organization with the plan. So the town is living now. We have food product, agricultural products that are in the liberated town. They're all coming now to the town of Goma. The price start going down. People are start living again. We put the police on the street, and the security is there. People are going to their daily lives without any worries. We actually continue to ensure the freedom of movement and the goods 24/7. So the town of Goma is living now. If there was problem here, I think many NGOs that are here could have already raised their voice.
I mean, there's an announcement which SADC has published yesterday about the withdrawal of the SADC forces. But can you explain? And they are saying that this withdrawal will be in stages. But from where we are standing, we don't know what is the relationship between M23 and specifically the South African soldiers that are still in Goma and their camp. Could you just break that down for us? What is the relationship? Are the South African soldiers and the rest of the other soldiers living in a situation of, say, prisoners of war along the Geneva Convention standards? What is the situation, and what is the attitude of M23?
Let's put it this way. Without going to Convention of Geneva, Convention of whatever, and I'll just tell you, we are Africans, first of all. South Africans are brothers. Our brothers, they were misled the same way many people were misled against the ANC in South Africa when they were fighting to free South Africa, to have the country that they have today. His Excellency, peace be upon Nelson Mandela and the others that who fought for South Africa, they were also betrayed by some South Africans. That is no problem. For us, South Africans are brothers. They were implementing a mission sent to them by the leaders. As army, they have to obey and go to fulfill the mission. But when they found the mission was not what was supposed to be, they gave the report back home that these are no Rwandese, these are Congolese, that they're fighting for the freedom, like we're always fighting the freedom back home, or our centuries did. So we don't have no problem with South Africa. They are our brothers. Anytime they want to leave, they can leave home.
What is the vision of M23 in relation to peace and stability? Will you be now opening negotiations with the government? And if you will, has the government responded positively to negotiations? That's the first part. Secondly, how do we envisage when you arrive at the table? What will be your concrete, practical sort of demands to the DRC government so that war can forever be ended?
First of all, sure, you follow much what we say at M23. We always call for this dialogue. From the beginning, since Sabinho, where we were, to Bunagana, and today Goma and Bukavu, we always call for dialogue. Because, as I said, this problem is a political problem. It should have a political solution, not a military. We are ready to sit on the table because we have been calling this to have a direct talk with the DRC government to address the root causes of the conflict.
But has the government agreed to a negotiation? Is Tshisekedi agreed to have a dialogue?
We hope this time he will agree, because he said he would never, ever, as long as president of the DRC, sit opposite or have his delegation sit opposite the M23.
So he has refused
the matters of this country. He has refused his own war. He is getting now the army of Chad and other countries to come to support him again on this warmongering plan, while South African and SADC are pulling out. Is getting Burundi to support him in this murderous program. He has refused. And even yesterday, we released a communique. Yesterday, praising the president, Angolan President João Lorenzo, for the initiative of having a direct talk with the DRC government to actually address the root causes of the conflict and have the peace in DRC. We requested that the DRC government to come out openly and accept as well, acknowledge this offer from the Angola. Then we can start talking and resolve this problem and have peace in our country.
But what is your reaction to the SADC's decision to withdraw the SADC armies?
We thank God. We thank God the same way South African praise God every single day on the national anthem, Kosi Chindulela, South Africa. We hear, we praise God that finally our brothers are seeing the light, and they were misleading them to come to kill and put themselves in the same program that their ancestors or grandfathers fought against apartheid. And now they come here to implement apartheid against the black people, the Africans. So this, for us, was something good. Finally, the South African and SADC has understood that this is Congolese internal problem driven by interest and people putting strings. For us, we are happy that SADC is pulling out and it's going to go, and we can solve these things politically and having peace in our country.
Just a final question. Is the Rwandan government supporting M23 in any way, as particularly with regards to your military campaigns?
I'll tell you something. It is really absurd. Every single day, we have recruitment. People are training our forces, and our recruitment are done openly. And those people are coming to our ranks are all Congolese. They're no Rwandese. But I'll tell you something that the Rwanda did well, and we praise Rwanda for doing so. I'll take you a minute to explain this thing, please. Be with me a minute. In 1994, the Rwanda suffered genocide perpetrated by the Interahamwe, those today we call FDLR. From then, against the Tutsi, and the Interahamwe was chased out. They came in Congo in 1994. The DRC government opened the door to the Interahamwe FDLR. Once they come in Congo, they start killing Congolese, committing murder. They drove all the Congolese, Tutsis mainly, and those Rwandophone who didn't want to follow the ideology, driven them to National Park of Virunga. From National Park of Virunga, they followed them there, and many went to exile in Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda, Tanzania, and overseas. Since 1994, these Congolese, driven away from their land by the FDLR genocidal group, are still living in a camp in the borderline for 30 years. If those countries, Rwanda, Uganda, Burundi, Tanzania, and overseas, never take our brothers and give them a refuge, then this community of Congolese will not exist today. The apartheid will have killed them all, and genocide will bear them forever. But those countries gave them sanctuary for them to live at peace. That's why we thank those countries to have done so, to keep our brothers. They are living in refugee camps outside. But this is 30 years long, and this was done by the FDLR. Until today, the FDLR still operating in the Eastern DRC, operating in Congo. They are in the national army. Even President Tshisekedi said openly that they need to support FDLR to overthrow power in Rwanda. So for me, I wanted to explain to you that this issue is big. We want to sit down with the DRC government to talk with them. We don't have no support from the Rwandan government. It's us who lives here in Eastern Congo, in the DRC in general, that are part of M23, and we are fighting. It's the DRC government that's getting help for foreign countries, help from Burundi to implement his apartheid policy.